I'm your host, Terry Kelly, and today we're talking with Ellen Langer about a book that she wrote entitled Counterclockwise. We all know that as time goes by, we age. But have you ever stopped to think about what would happen if suddenly we started to get younger? Ellen Langer has done studies on the process of aging, and notably on the process of reversing the aging process. Welcome, Ellen. You did a fascinating study. Would you tell us about that
Which
study?
one?
The 1959
Okay, that study, yeah.
That was a page turner.
Right. I start the book with that, and then I'll tell you about the study and also the theory behind it, just a little bit, because that led to other very fun studies.
Yeah.
So, or maybe I'll tell you the theory first. Very simple. If you think of a mind and a body, which Descartes separated for us, right?
Descartes.
Then, right, very good. Okay, so then the question is always, how do you get from this non-material, fuzzy, thinking sort of thing to this body? Okay, so from the non-material, and nobody's been able to answer that. So I said, wait a second. Let's take this mind and this body, let's put them back together. And if you do so, wherever you put the mind, the body will also be there. So I did a series of studies where I put the mind in, let's say, a strange place, usually a healthy place, and take the measurements from the body. So the counterclockwise study. We took these old men to a timeless retreat to turn the clock back. And essentially, what we did was have them live as if it were 20 years earlier. So they had discussions twice a day that were held in the present tense, not in the past tense. The decorations in the retreat were all of 20 years. Everything about it was to put their mind back 20 years. And
when they were younger.
When they were younger. And the findings were remarkable. Their vision improved, their hearing improved, photos taken of them before and after suggested that they looked younger, cognitive abilities improved. But there were a couple of fun things that happened you might be interested in. One was when I had the comparison group there, the control group, which is the first group we ran. I'm on the bus going to the retreat with them, and as we were approaching the retreat, I realized my graduate students aren't with me. I'm just there alone with these men. That meant a lot of suitcases. And so as soon as we get there, and I thought, I'm just, not going to do it. So I told them that what they would do is they're responsible for their own suitcases, and they could move them an inch at a time. They could unpack it at the bus and carry up a shirt at a time, any way they wanted to do it. Well, these were people who had been almost coddled to death prior to this.
Yeah.
And this set the stage, even for the comparison group, to say that this was going to be a whole different experience. And the change in both groups, and of course even more so for the experimental group, was palpable. You could feel it. Now, when these people first came to see if they were going to be in the study, so usually their daughter, adult daughter, brought them to my office to take certain tests and so on. And they would saunter down the hallway looking like they're on their last leg, and I thought to myself, what am I getting myself into? This was going to be, because I was going to be responsible for a group of men for a full week, morning, noon, and night. And, and if you contrast that with what happened at the very end of the study, which I didn't report when I first described it because it was sort of maybe too way out there. But at the end of this, I was playing football with these men. Now, it wasn't tackle, but still. These men, it was a change right before your eyes, simply from the change in mindset. So then, let me tell you about a couple of the other studies, just to make the point. Okay, so we did this study with chambermaids. Now, chambermaids,
the exercise.
Chambermaids are exercising all day long, right? Their jobs are physical.
Yeah.
First thing that was interesting, we asked them, how much exercise do you get? And they said they don't get any exercise. Well, that's odd. They don't get any exercise because exercise is defined by the Surgeon General to be what we do after work, because when we're working, we're sitting and not exercising. So they adopted that their work isn't exercise. Now, the first thing is that they're not particularly healthy. In fact, they're less healthy than they certainly should be given all this exercise. Okay. So we take half of them, and we teach them that their work is exercise. And they're told, making a bed is like working on this machine at the gym, and so on. So then we ask them, we leave. we come back and we ask them, have they changed the way they eat, how much they eat? No. Are they working any harder? No. We ask people, their friends, co-workers, about them and so on, to see, is there anything that's different? The only thing that's different is that now they see their work as exercise. Now we take our measures. We found that they lost weight. There was a difference in waist to hip ratio and body mass index, and their blood pressure came down. Wow. Take the mind and the body, you put them together. Wherever you put the mind, the body should follow. And so I have study after study like that in the book. It's very exciting.
It certainly is. Well, my husband George and I belong to the Andover Senior Center, and we go there on Monday mornings, and we belong to a chorus. Mm-hmm. And I was telling them yesterday morning about the fact that I was going to be interviewing you today, and I thought they might be very interested in reading your book. Mm-hmm. And someone handed me an article which came from the Lowell Sun, and it was about singing in a chorus and how it makes you healthier and younger and happier. Mm-hmm. And it just struck me because we started singing in this chorus a few years ago, and I'm watching people get younger. Yeah. And younger people and happier. Mm-hmm. This is a great group, but it's not just a singing group. There's a dance group, there are exercise groups, there's a theater group, and we're seeing these people just get younger and younger. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Terry, that this concept of mindfulness is different from what many of my colleagues study. Not better or worse, it's just different. It's a different order of variable in that no matter what you're doing, mm-hmm. whether you're having an interview, eating an apple, singing a song, no matter what, you're doing it either mindfully or mindlessly. Yeah. And all of the research makes clear that there's a very big difference depending on which way you're doing it. So if these people are singing their little hearts out. That's the way I sing, even though I can't carry a tune, but I love it.
Come sing with us.
But that, in fact, it probably is very good for them. No matter what you're doing, if you're doing it in this mindful manner, you will reap benefits.
Yeah, I would say that it is being done mindfully, mm-hmm. because we're there because we want to be there. I basically went there for the companionship after mm-hmm. I retired from my teaching job. So it wasn't the music particularly that attracted me, but the idea of getting into a group and achieving something together, and the esprit de corps.
Exactly. Now, the esprit de corps is interesting because I think that another way of understanding that is that mindfulness is contagious.
Yes.
In fact, we have data that I reported in my last book, On Becoming an Artist, Reinventing Yourself Through Mindful Creativity, where when people are mindful through this, just noticing new things, they're found to be, they seem to be more genuine, they seem to be leaders, they're simply more attractive. Yeah. And so what happens is that if you're mindful, you're more attractive to me, then I pay more attention to you, and it, again, becomes catching.
Yeah.